Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf, Menachos Mem Gimel. We are on the bottom of Mem Beis and Mem Beis, 7 lines off the bottom. Tanu Rabbanon, here comes a brisa. Tchelas, Ein Bedika, one cannot really discern the blue wool if it's, to see if it's really legitimate blue from a legitimate source, from the Chid Lazain, or perhaps it's just imitation blue, fake blue, which the Gemara calls Kala Ilan, due to the fact that original blue was very expensive and very rare. They would sometimes try to imitate and substitute the real one for fake. Says the Brisa, there really is no way to discern if it's real or not. And therefore, what follows is, make sure you buy it from a reputable source, from a certified dealer, from an expert. Vein nikachas. It is only meant to be purchased ela min hamumcha, from a mumcha. Next item is tefillin. Yesh lahem bedika. Tefillin you can inspect to ensure it's kashrus. Yesh lahem bedika. Rashi says to see whether there are missing letters, extra letters. So pretty much you can see what it is. Still, says the Brisa, ve'ein nikachen ela min hamumcha. You should only buy it from a mumcha. What's the reason for that? Explains Rashi, because only a mumcha will know that the skin, the cloth, the parchment needs to be processed l'shem for the sake of tefillin. That's something that doesn't really meet the eye. It's not something which you can see. Make sure you buy it from a proper source. Lastly, Sfarim, that's Sifrei Torah, umezuzos, yesh lahem bedika. Once again, you can pretty much inspect by looking at them and see if they were written properly. And in this case, you can buy from anybody, because, as Rashi explains, there's no requirement of ibud lishma, of manufacturing the hides, the skins for the sake of the mezuzah. You can take any skin off the shelf. So in this case, you're safe. Ask the Gemara on the first item. You can't test the tcheles to determine whether it's real or not. With tcheles, ein lo bedika baha. Here come two procedures that were taught by the Chachamim. Basically, two tests, which allows us to enables us to determine whether it's the original or it's a fake. How did he check the tcheles? Badiklei. He would do the bdika as follows. So this was the lab test. Maisi, he would bring an ingredient called megav yigila, alum, Rashi says, some sort of chemical. Umay de shavlilta, the juice of a tilson plant, fenugreek, right? Meraglaim. So these three ingredients he would. Ben abarim, meraglaim is 40 days old. And he would soak the this blue material in this mix throughout the night, litzafar, from the evening till the morning, and he would check it in the morning. This was the test. If the coloring got weaker, if it ran, if it faded, psula, that's not real tcheles, which would hold up under these conditions, so it's fake. But lo yifrat chazusei, if the color remained intact, then it's the real stuff, ksheira. That was one procedure, one type of test. Rav Ada kamei Rava. So Rav Ada presented to Rava, Mishmei, in the name of the Rabbi Vira Amar. This is the test that he had been taught. He says, Maisi chamira. Chamira is sourdough, like yeast, right? Araksa, really strong, acidic dough, sourdough. This is already made of barley. And so you take this ingredient, and you would bake the blue wool, this blue sample, in this mix, and take a look at it after the baking. If it looks better than before, then it's good, kshera. If there was an upgrade, then it's v'shot cheles. If there was a downgrade, l'gerusa, then it's psula, v'simonech. A simple way to remember this is shinui sheker, shinui emes. If it changes for the negative, then it's fake. If it changes upwards, then it's good. Bottom line is we have two separate tests that can be employed to verify the authenticity of the tchelas. Why did the Brisa say there is no way to test it? Answer is, Ma'in lo bedika, when the Brisa said, Ein lo bedika, the Brisa spoke about Ein lo bedika at ima. Certainly in terms of the actual material, the color itself, you can test that. But you can't test. You can't know intention. Perhaps this wool was a sample, was a test dye. It wasn't really for the sake of tzitzis. That you'll never know through any lab test. And that's the concern when you buy tchelis. Maybe it's not for tzitzis. It wasn't produced for tzitzis. So make sure you buy it from a properly certified dealer. Mar, Rashi says, this is the name of a chacham. His name was Mar. From a place called Mashchi, Mar mi Mashchi. Aisit Chelta. He came along with some tchelis. B'shnei Rav Achoy, while Rav Achoy during his lifetime. So Rav Achoy was there. But of course, the people wanted to, run this test on the tchelis to determine whether it's real. So first they tried the first procedure, the one with the soaking, right? But and sure enough, the color faded. It failed the test. They went on to the next procedure, b'drav ada, the baking. Oh, this time it worked. It passed. It looked even better than before. So people thought, okay, it's possible because it failed the first test. Rav Achoy was there. Turned to him, he says, look, either you rely on the test or you don't. So it failed the first and passed the second. So what is it? Not tchelis and not fake? Not real and not fake? What is it? Elaha. So what do you say this is? Lo tchilta, is it not really tchelis? He v'lo kalilim, it's not kalilim as well? You have to figure out how this works. Elo. It must be like this. Shmamina. So certainly, shmu'asa, these two procedures, hadadi itma, were presented together as a package. It's sort of a chain procedure, which means like this. If it passes any one of these tests, you're good. But the second test was a bit more difficult, so they would first try the first test. If it passed, okay. If it failed, go on to the second. If it passed the second, you're okay. When we did a bedika with Rav Yitzchak, with Rav Yehuda, the first procedure, if we try that and lo yifrach chazuse and it doesn't fade, then ksher, it's good to pass the test. Ifrach chazuse, but if it faded, but can live b'drav b'chamira arkasa. If it fails the first, we move on to the second with the sa'ir. And we see Ishtam al Yusuf, it changed for the better, then it's ksher. L'gru Yusuf for the worse, then it's psula. So in this case, where it failed the first and passed the second, you're good. Sholchom Matam. In fact, they sent a message over from Eretz Yisrael. Likewise, Shemuasa Hadadi Itmar. That in fact, both of these tests were set together as a package, as we explained. Rabbi Mani, he dealt with tchelas. Dayek v'zavin k'chomer masni. So when he would buy his tchelas, he would be extra careful, and would purchase as per the stringency of the brisa, which means that he only brought it from a mumcha. He didn't take any chances. Amalei Usabas, this elder chacham tells him, good for you. You'll be successful in your endeavor. You're elech. You're going the extra mile. Hachi. As such, Avud Kamoi de Kamach, the early ones before you, the erlecha dealers will do the same. And there, business boomed. Likewise, you can have success in your panos. Okay, so you walk down the street, you find an article of clothing with tzitzis attached to it. Can you assume that it's kosher at tzitzis? Well, it depends who you got it from. Yisrael, you bought it from a yid. You presume that it's okay. But you buy it from a guy, it depends. Not tagar, if he's a merchant, he wouldn't want to ruin his reputation, ruin his business. So you could assume that it's ksher, it's kosher tzitzis that he must have purchased from a yid. You buy it from a regular guy in the street, you don't know, psula. Maybe it's something that he did without the lishma. It's not kosher tzitzis. So this halacha that by a merchant you can assume that he bought it from a yid, that's halachically true. Although really, although it was said that a person shouldn't be selling tzitzis to a guy, period. A person may not sell talis with tzitzis hanging on it to a guy. Why? Until he unravels and takes off the tzitzis. My time, why? Two reasons. Here in Bavli they explain Mishum Zoyna. Rashi explains that he might entice a Jewish woman to be with him, the guy, by imposturing as a yid, by wearing this tzitzis. So he shouldn't hand tzitzis over to a guy. Rabbi Yehuda Amar. The reason is Shema Yislavim Bederach V'Yargenu, because the guy might use the tzitzis to dress up like Yid and accompany a Yid on the road who will feel safe in the guy's company thinking that he's a Yid, and he'll go and injure him or harm him, kill him. So although you shouldn't be selling to a guy, nevertheless if you find a merchant with tzitzis, you can assume that he sourced it with a Yid. Rabbi Yehuda, comes a new story. Rabbi Yehuda Ramit Chelta. He placed tchelas, meaning he attached tzitzis, the presumed in Shibese, on the clothes of his family, of his wife, of the females in his home. So that's number one. Number two, Mevarach l'safra l'sata b'tzitzis. Secondly, every morning he would make a new bracha l'sata b'tzitzis on his tzitzis. Now, any connection, any correlation between the two? Let's see. Midramic, the fact that he applied tzitzis on his wife's begodim. Now, typically we know that an isha is exempt from time-related mitzvahs. So the question is, is tzitzis meant for only daytime, so it's time-related, or do we say it's one continuous mitzvah, 24-hour mitzvah? In which case it would make sense. That would explain why his wife would have to wear it. Apparently, he went with the second approach. Midrami, the fact that he applied the tzitzis on his wife's beged, because apparently he holds, he's of the position that mitzvah sasei shelo yazran gromo. It's not a time-related mitzvah. If that's the case, how do you explain the second half of the story? Why would he make a bracha every morning? Look, if nighttime is exempt, fine, so every day is a new, experience. But if it's all one obligation, it's all one continuum, there are no interruptions. Just make one bracha and keep on going. Wear it on account of that bracha. Why make a new bracha every day? The answer is because the Rabbi, as Rabbi holds, Rabbi holds by tefillin, calls man shemanichan berach alein. Every time you put the tefillin on anew, take it off, put it on, you make a new bracha to Rabbi. Same with the tzitzis. Every time he put on his tzitzis. Well, he said, then why is that related to the morning? Just basically, every time he took it off and put it back on, he would have to make a bracha. Why are we saying he made a bracha every morning? The answer is, you're right. Rabbi Yehuda inish tzniyav. Rabbi Yehuda was a modest person. He was tzanua. He would always be covered. But he wouldn't take off his robe, whatever, kula yoyme, throughout the day. He would only take it off at night. That explains why he made a new bracha every morning. Ask the Gemara, but certainly you got up before morning to learn, right? So why would he make a bracha only at morning, at daybreak? He should make a bracha when he gets up, before daybreak to put on his new clothes, his daytime clothing. Why is he only making a bracha in the morning? The answer is, because that's when he made the switch. From the night beged, the pajamas, to the the night beged that he had, and the daytime beged. Okay, so that necessitated a new bracha. The Rosh actually asked, so then he should make a new bracha every night when he puts on the night beged as well. So he says he never took that off; it was always on him. But the daytime beged he would alternate with it. It would be off at night and on in the morning. So bottom line is, he held. This is Rabbi Yehuda. He held that tzitzis is really a nighttime obligation as well. It's just that when you put on you switch begadim, you make a new bracha, and it happened to be that this would happen every morning. Okay, Tana Rabbanan. Here comes a brisa, and brisa will tell us who is in fact chayiv in tzitzis. Hakol chayiv in tzitzis. So all segments of Klal Yisrael is chayiv in tzitzis. Kehanim, Levim, Yisrael, Ger, Nashim, V'avadim. Okay, so this Tanakama holds like Rabbi Yehuda. It's not time related because it's continuous, a continuous mitzvah throughout day and night. Rabbi Shimon Poiter B'Nashim, he says women are potter. Why? Because it's a time related mitzvah. It's limited in time. It's limited to daytime. All those mitzvahs, Nashim Abturis. Okay, now we're going to analyze this brisa from beginning to end. So we start Amar Hakol Chayav Mitzitzis. every Yid is chayiv, whether you're a Kohen, right? Levi, Kohanim, Levi, Israel. Now, obviously, Pshita. I mean, why would I even have to mention that Kohanim are included? The Kohanim, Levi, Israel, and Ptimur. If these three segments are pata, then who's chayiv? Man l'chayiv. Why even have to list them? Kohanim is strichlei. The main point is to highlight the Kohanim. At the chayiv and tzitzis. Why would I think otherwise? Perhaps I would think, first the Torah warns against mixing wool and linen. Shanis. No shanis. But the pasuk continues, make tzitzis, and even though it entails a mix of wool and linen. So you would think this perhaps only applies to a non-kohen. Why? Why is it kind of different in this respect? Only a Yisro, a non-kohen, who typically is not allowed to wear kilayim. Who the machay b'tzitzis? He wears tzitzis. So he doesn't have the mix in a forbidden manner. So he has to have it in a permissible manner, right? In a tzitzis format. But the Kohanim, as we know, would sometimes wear kilayim within their service in the Beis Hamikdash. Since kilayim is mutter for them, Rashi explains, the abnet, the belt was a mix of wool. So then, since they already have the Kohen Gadol's kilayim, abnet, since they already have an element of kilayim within their wardrobe, so perhaps they're not obligated to wear tzitzis. They already, do it in a different way. Kamash Malan. That's why the Brisa comes and says, look, no exceptions. All achayiv and tzitzis. Why nihida ishtari bin avodah? Although kohanim are permitted in kilayim within their service while they're doing avodah, but not outside the avodah. So typically they can't wear kilayim, so therefore they're in the same boat as everybody else, and they're obligated in tzitzis as well. Okay, Shimon pointed ben Ashim. He says women are parter. My time is Shimon. Why? Because he holds nighttime is exempt from tzitzis, and women are exempt from time-related mitzvahs. Sanya, Risam, Oisei, the pasuk says, you're meant to see the tzitzis. As opposed to a garment which is meant for nighttime wear, where it's dark, you don't see naturally, right? So you're exempting a nighttime garment. Perhaps nighttime is in just Risa means as opposed to a blind man's clothing. The answer is no. He's certainly obligated. The pasuk comes back to ashatachasaba, that expands it and covers more cases. That covers even a blind man's article. So what is the Torah exempting with the words of Risam? It's supposed to nighttime. So nighttime is out, blind man is in. Now, why? Why would you go this way? I mean, the Torah is including something and excluding something else. Who's to say which one is in, which one is out? Why are you including the blind man's and excluding the nighttime? The answer is it's more likely to include the blind man, although he can't see, but it's something that others can see, right? It's seeable, right? As opposed to nighttime when it's pitch black for everybody. Nobody can see. Now ask the Gemara. Rabbanan hold that women are chayiv, right? The Tanakh holds that women are chayiv in tzitzis. Apparently, they hold it's not limited to time, because you're chayiv in tzitzis even at night. So, what's the pasuk teaching when it says ashatachasaba? What is it including? Rashi explains it can't be coming to include a summa, a blind man's clothing, because look, even nighttime when it's pitch black for everybody, according to Rabban Yochayev, certainly a blind man's, which is seen by others, right? So, what's the point of that pasuk? This Lusanya is needed for the following halacha, to cover even a 5-cornered garment. Look at the Sanya, al-arba conference suscha, place that tzitzis on a beggar with 4 corners, right? Arba shalish, 4, not 3. 3-corner is exempt. You're exempting a 3-cornered beggar. And perhaps exempt a 5-cornered beggar as well. That's covering another case, expanding it to a 5-cornered beggar. So what does the pasuk mean when it says 4? If you include even 5, why even to exclude 3? So 3 is out, 5 is in. Who's to say? Who says? Why are you including 5 and excluding 3? The answer is, it's more likely. Marbani balas chamish makes more sense to include 5. Sheesh bechlal chamish ava, and every 5 there's 4. So it is a 4-cornered garment, right? The extra corner doesn't detract, as opposed to a 3, which never got to 4. Within 3 you don't have 4, so it's out. Now, how does Reb Shimon know a 5-cornered garment? Reb Shimon ma'asher nafka, it says asher techasaba. Asher covers the extra. Rabban asher lemash rabbanon, don't dwell on the word asher. It's just a mode of language. Now comes the obvious question. Urisa ma'isai, which according to Reb Shimon excluded nighttime. Rabbanon who say you wear tzitzis at night, what happened to Urisa ma'isai? Rabbanon hay Urisa ma'isai me'avla, what do you do with Urisa ma'isai? It's meant to give you the message, the meaning behind the mitzvah of. It's meant to give you it's meant to give you the time. We'll get to the message soon. The time frame of mitzvah tzitzis, which according to Rabban is limited to daytime, which begins when it starts getting light, when you can start seeing, discerning the difference between the white and the blue threads, right? Which is when you start saying Krishma. That's when you wear your tzitzis as well. Because it's on your risam, so it was a chartem. Take a look at the tzitzis and you'll remind yourself. What does that mean? When you see the tzitzis and you can tell them apart, it's light enough, then you should be reminded. It should trigger in your mind that it's time for the other mitzvah as well. Krishma, which is talui, in tzitzis. It coincides with the zman of tzitzis, as we find in the Mishnah. What's the earliest time in the morning you say the Shema? Once you can tell the difference between the blue and the white. Okay, we have another brisa on this phrase. When you see the tzitzis, it reminds you of the mitzvah which is stated next to tzitzis in the Torah. Which one is that? Mrs. Kalai, right? As the pasuk says, don't mix the tzemer pishtim yachdav. So tzitzis connects you to Kalayim. They're sort of two opposites, right? Tanya, we have another brisa on the pasuk Risa Zachartem. Et Kol Mitzvah Hashem. What's the connection between tzitzis and all the mitzvahs? Once a person is obligated in tzitzis, it becomes a bar mitzvah, right? In the Schai Kol Mitzvahs Kulon, he has to do all the mitzvahs. And Rashi explains that this is obviously going like Reb Shimon, right? Who says that only a male, a zachar, who's chayiv and tzitzis, has to do all the mitzvahs. Because according to the Rabbanon, even a woman is chayiv and tzitzis, and she doesn't have to do all the mitzvahs. She's exempt from many mitzvahs, right? Reb Shimoni, Reb Shimoni. The Amar mitzvahs as ish is man grama, right? So the Gemara explains going like Reb Shimon. Tani, that we have another brisa. Urisa Moshe Zachartim is called Hashem. What do we learn from here? Shkula mitzvah zu, keneg kol mitzvahs kulam. So tzitzis corresponds to all the mitzvahs. Rashi brings that the numerical of tzitzis is 613 because the word tzitzis is 600, 5 knots and 8 threads, so it's 8 strings. That's 613. We're going to see soon that the tzitzis is like a uniform where you identify with Hashem's service, so it sort of commits you to all the mitzvahs. We have another brayse on this pasuk. It's a chain reaction. When you see, when you notice, and you take notice, and you take interest, it reminds you. Reminds you of what? Of doing what's right. When you remember, when you recall, you actually do it. Reb Shimon he says like this: is mitzvah zu. A person who's meticulous in mitzvah of tzitzis, he'll merit to appreciate the light the aura of the Shekhinah. What's the connection? Ksivach urisem oisoi. You see oisoi. Ksiv hasam. By Hashem. Es Hashem lakechatir v'oisoi savi. So when you have the tzitzis, urisem oisoi, you have to see Kaviyachal, the Shekhinah, had that connection to Hashem. Tan Rabban, Chaviv in Yisrael, Kal Diru Yar, Klal Yisrael. Hashem encased us in a cocoon of holiness, cocoon of mitzvahs. Look, we're surrounded. Tefillin b'rashein, tefillin on the head, tefillin on the arm, as they're saying. Tzitzis, big down on the garment. Mezuzah b'schem, mezuzah on the doorway. So on the person, the garment, and the house, we're all surrounded. Amar David, on this David HaMelech says, I praise you on the 7 aspects of Kedusha that surrounds us. What are the 7? Rashi says. The 2 tefillins and the 4 tzitzis and the mezuzah, total of 7. In fact, when David HaMelech entered the bathhouse, he received himself without clothing, without mitzvahs. Omar, he says, look, I'm standing here, bereft of any mitzvah. Mitzvah. As soon as he recalled that he has a mitzvah stamped within him, the milah on his flesh, he was pleased. After he left the Beis HaMerchatz, Omar le'ashira, he made a special song, a special shira, to express his appreciation about having the milah internalized to the point that, if nothing else, you always have the milah. It's a constant, permanent imprint of Hashem within the person. So he conducted a song al Hashminis relating to the 8th day, Mizmor David, al milah shenitim b'shmini, regarding milah that was given to be done on the 8th day after birth. Person keeps all these mitzvahs surrounded all around tefillin, tzitzis, mezuzah. He's guaranteed to be protected from sinning. This threesome, right? The tefillin, the tzitzis, and the mezuzah, will not be severed quickly, meaning it's a triple guarantee, triple protection. The Malach Hashem surrounds us, watches us, those that keep the mitzvahs, protects us from sin. Tanya, why is it that the Torah chose blue of all the colors? Answer, blue resembles the blue of the ocean, which resembles the sky, which resembles Hashem's abode. So one pasuk tells us that the Makam of Hashem Kaviyachal is similar to the Shammai. So we have that connection. And the pasuk says that the kisei of the Kisei HaKavod, Hashem is like Evan Saper. Which is, as we said, the Kemas Livnas HaSaper, Ketzman HaLator, right? So the same color. The sky and the Kisei is the same color. Right, so that's one link. And Rashi explains, Rashi continues the chain. Once we know that the Kisei is Saper and so is the Rakia, and we know that Tcheles and Yam are similar, that we see, and we know that the Yam and the Rakia are similar, so now we have the full connection. Tcheles to the Yam, to the Rakia, to the Kisei HaKavod. Okay, so it keeps us cognizant of Hashem's presence and our allegiance and Dveikus b'Hashem. Tanya, Hoyra Me'omer. On this topic of allegiance, Gadol Einshe Shalavan, Yosem Einshe Shal Tcheles, the penalty that's applied for a person who the einish debt is due. When a person ignores the love on the white strings, which are easy to come by, is more severe than the blue, because blue is hard to come by. But Lavan should be easy. Mashal Madavadam, what's it compared to? Lamelch Basadam, a human king. Shamash Ne'avadav instructs his servants as follows. To one he says, Le'echad Amar, Havi li chaysim shaltid, bring me a badge. Rashi says they would make this tag for a behema or an eved. When you buy it, you put your tag. This way, it identifies its owner. So this one he told, go bring me a chaysim shaltit made of clay. The other one he instructed to bring him to get himself a golden tag. And both did not bring it. Which one will be punished more severely? The one who had a more difficult job. I would certainly say the one who he ordered a tit one, because why don't you do it? It was so easy. He didn't bring it to the king. Likewise, tzitzis, which is a chaysim shel eved, Rashi says, the Tosfos says, right? This is what's the connection between all this and tzitzis. He says that the tzitzis is a testimony, a testament to our avdes, that we are avdei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's like our uniform. It's testament to our allegiance, to our belonging, identifying as Hashem's people. Tanya Me'omer, Chayav Adam levarach me'eh brachas b'chol yom. Person should ensure that he has recited 100 brachas every day. Shnemar, as the pasuk says, V'at Yisrael. Ma Hashem elkecha shel mecha. What's Hashem asking of you? And Rashi explains, the word Ma Hashem can be read like Meya. Ma is like Meya. Tosfos adds that in the pasuk there are 100 letters. Okay, so 100 brachas. So what would he do? B'Shabbat of Yom Tovei, on Shabbos and Yom Tov, where you have a shorter Shemona Esrei, so you're missing some brachas, he would still complete the 100. Torah-comment, he would make the effort to complete the 100. Bispamarki, using incense, besamim, and making a bracha on those, umegadi, and all types of nashes and pastries or whatever, so that he would get to 100 brachas. Tanya Hara Me'omer. The following 3 brachas to be recited by everybody every day. What are the 3 brachas? Shasani Yisrael, thanking Hashem for making us a Yisrael. Number 2, Shleisani Isha, not an Isha. Shleisani Bur, and not an Amaretz. Rav Achabar Yaakov Shammai Librei, you heard that his son was making he was making the 3rd bracha, Shleisani Bur. So he was surprised. Amalei says, Kuli, hi, Nami, to this extent? I understand, Shleisani Isha, because of the mitzvahs that we do, that Isha is pater, right, and a guy, right, was pater from, but a bur, he's chayav a mitzvah. So why are you blessing Hashem? What kind of contrast is that? Amar Leisi says to his father, so what should I, what bracha should I make? Shleisani Eved. Okay, that you should make. So he says, Hainu Isha, well, what's the point of saying Shleisani Eved? Once you say Shleisani Isha, isn't it included? They both have the same level of obligations, the Isha and the Eved. So once you're thanking for making me Yisrael and not an Isha, so then Eved as well. Well, Eved still earns its own place, its own blessing. Eved zil tzfei. Look, an Eved is certainly more degraded and mezulzul than an Isha, Rashi says. So there's certainly room to make a special bracha, appreciating and thanking Hashem for making us who we are, not the Eved. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We had the various methods of testing the tcheles. We spoke about ensuring that tcheles was sourced in a good source, reputable dealers. We spoke about the question of whether tzitzis is zman grama, because night is exempt, or shleya zman grama, because night is chayev. The practical application would be regarding women. We spoke about Risa Moisei Zacharta, many different shatim on that. Tchelos de Miliyam, de Melchisiah Kavod, Chaysim Shel Avdus. We concluded with Rameir's halachis, 100 brachas, and the specific brachas of thanksgiving to Hashem, which we say every morning. All the best to you, and Atzlacha Rabba.